All right, shalom. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Baha, Rachakodash. I'd like to give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone that do well. And I would like to say peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect in 1/3, and Lord's will. This lesson will be edifying and exhorting to the sincere sheep of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Baha, Rachakodash. And as the title reads, Mr. Innocent will be found guilty. All right. And Mr. Innocent speaking about Esau, Edom. Okay. And, pretty much we're seeing, the judgment, all right, slowly creep and befall his rulership. All right. And ultimately, people don't know that Esau, Edom, okay, is going to be judged for the wickedness that he has and is doing. All right, to us, to Jake, to his younger brother, okay, the descendants of his younger brother, all right, the Israelites, okay. People have this notion that it's long gone, it's over with, but no, man, no. And let me start off with this. Scripture, oldie but goldie, all right, because a lot of people they do not know how the Lord's justice works. Okay, they do not apply the justice of Yahweh Bashem El Shai. In fact, people in Babylon, they actually they rely on Babylon more than they rely on God. And when I say that, I'm meaning you quote unquote Christians, you Eurocentric American Christians. You use the Bible as a cloak. You don't rely on the Bible. You use it as a as a covering cast apart with your quote unquote white image. But real quick, this is Ecclesiastes 3:15. All right. If you didn't know, this is how the Lord works. Okay. You have something called you have a certain period of time where someone can be charged with a crime in the court of law. But when it comes to the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, it doesn't work like that. This is Ecclesiastes 3:15. That which has been is now, and that which is to be has already been. And the Most High God, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, requireth that which is past. So things that have happened in the past, there needs to be a requirement for them. And a good example that just came to mind is Amalek, okay, where the Lord said he would have a war with Amalek from generation, because why? He went to war with us, okay? Amalek went to war with us, all right? You know the battle with holding up Moses' arms, okay? And the Lord, because of that, said that he had a war with Amalek, and Amalek came out of Esau, Edom, okay? So if the Lord said that he's going to have a continual war with Amalek, how much more the nation of Edom in its entirety, okay? How much more Esau, Edom in its entirety? And this is what we're witnessing. We're witnessing the end of you, all right? Why do you think it says this real quick, Habakkuk? Why do you think it says this, okay? Habakkuk 2:12, all right? Let's go down. Woe to him that buildeth the town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. See, everything that Babylon, which was prophecy, but everything that Babylon has been built off of, now you are starting to have to pay for that. Now, what you've done in the past is being required from you now, you see? And that's what they didn't take in consideration. They didn't lay it to the latter end, okay? Now, I just want to see a different translation just to see. Okay, it all says, whoa, whoa, whoa. It says, the one who builds a city by bloodshed is as good as dead. He who starts a town by unjust deeds. Babylon was started by what? Unjust deeds. And the reason for this lesson, okay, ultimately through the Spirit, is I was watching this movie right here, okay? I was watching this movie right here. If you got a smart TV, what I did was I went and did a free day trial, and then Yaiquabbed it. All right, so you brothers should know. Okay, do what you gotta do. You can watch this for free. And let me just say this real quick: this Apple TV, you should be ashamed of yourself. I clicked, I so-called subscribed, and it was terrible. You know, it was terrible. So, you know, you'll unsubscribe. You can watch it, then you can unsubscribe, and they won't charge you for it. But yeah, I was watching this movie. You can see it's with Will Smith. Now, his character, all right, well, what shall I say? Who he's portraying, okay, is an actual Levite, okay. And let's actually let's do this. Let's do one more. Let's put a Emancipation film, and then true story. All right. And I found this movie to be very yeah, look at this. Will Smith film Emancipation is inspired by, of course, it's inspired by a true story. Okay. And this cuts all these weird bugged out people that try to say that slavery didn't exist. And it also shows you, all right, the disgusting nature, all right, that Esau Edom had against us while in slavery. You know, this movie was very telling. Okay. This movie was very telling. You as an Israelite, I highly recommend you watch this. Okay. You want to look at a visualization of he that leadeth into captivity. All right. Esau Edom, that's one thing that I notice about him is he can really show that those horns, man. Okay. And in this movie, all right, they really showed the horns of Esau Edom. All right. And it says it was inspired by a true story. And why was it inspired by a true story? Because the children of Israel, okay. Matter of fact, let's go here. The children of Israel was a punishment was slavery. All right. A harsh, brutal slavery. Okay. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 68. It says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. Yeah, you could see how this was Egypt. Okay. It was very rigorous. All right. It was very hard labor. All right, where they would beat you to death. Okay, there's a lot of good information in this movie, man. All right, and a lot of them were those Edomites. While they were beating Jake, they were quoting scriptures. Okay, they were quoting scriptures while they were beating Israelites. All right, and then you fast forward all the way today, and you have people that will offensively, all right, they offensively try to debunk or cut off the correlation from our history, all right, and biblical history. You know, I find that I mean it's necessary evil, but when you look at it for what it is, it's very offensive. Okay, for someone to claim to be a Christian, when you look back and realize all the nastiness that was done to us in the name of Christianity, and no one's ever talked about that. No Christian has ever told me about how the Bible was used to enslave us, murder us, whip us, all right, kill us, hang us, kill us again. You know, Christians don't ever, ever, ever talk about that. But you have people that have the nerve in the name of Christianity to try to, quote unquote, debunk the fact that we are correlating what we're went through in history with biblical texts. How offensive, you know. How offensive, you know, we know what's true. Okay. And it says, bring thee into Egypt, house of bondage, again with ships. Okay. By the way whereof I spake unto thee in the wilderness, thou shalt see it no more again. Right. It says, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Now I want to look up the translation, excuse me, but I want to see what this word sold mean. All right, because what these movies show you is how Esau had and that's another thing. When you watch these movies, the way Esau had us, it was like he didn't want you. He wanted to micromanagely enslave you. You know, he wanted to control if you laughed, if you breathed, where you looked, where you urinated. You know, I mean, when you go back to this movie and you watch it. Okay, and the way Esau embodies that hatred, all right, you know, hey man, it gets you, it makes you see, the light of justice that we've been given through the gospel, and that's what Christianity won't do. Christianity doesn't have the gospel, because this is why it says to those that are bound, you know. And let me hold that on deck, but I'm gonna keep making my points. I don't have nothing really written down, so I'm just getting what the Holy Spirit is feeding me. Okay. You know, how offensive that this is our history. So I want to hold this right here. Lord's will, I can go back to make that point, but I don't want to go too far in my initial point. So I just want to see what's sold. Okay, to sell, to give, to be given over to death. That's literally what it was, man. Okay, we were given into the hands of Esau, and he could do anything, even up to death to us. All right. When you watch these movies, I mean, this is how this guy he'll mutilate you, okay, torture you, starve you, force feed you, make you marry other men. Okay, he in the scene when he was running away, the Edomite went to his wife and told him how the master has a new husband for her, so she had to like basically mutilate her hand so she wouldn't be a good worker no more. So he wouldn't want to. So someone wouldn't want to marry her. You know, this is what Esau did. This is what Christians did. Okay, in the name of Christianity, you know, they were being whipped, and he was saying, "Servants, obey your master." Hey, this was crazy, man. Okay, this is very telling. And Mr. Innocent will not be found guilty. Okay. Mr. Innocent will not be found guilty, even though he likes to hold himself not guilty. And let's grab that real quick. Okay. I got a few, so I'm just grabbing them. This is Zechariah. Man, how dare you, man? How dare you, man? Zechariah 11:5. Whose possessors? Let's start at 4. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, my power, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty." This is Mr. Innocent. Well, it wasn't me. You know, that's never been addressed. There's never been nothing about this addressed. And now we're so far gone as a nation that the results of cruel, chattel, hard bondage, slavery has left majority of our people, okay, ill-educated, no culture, no identity, all right, given a culture, given an identity, given a nationality, and look what it's done to them. Look at so-called black and brown people today. They are results. They are the results of being a lost nation with a mythological culture scattered around in this country, being refused to let go and being slapped with criminal, black, oodles and noodles, Kool-Aid, the environment, the projects, the ghetto. So now when we speak about the ill justice, the ill-gotten gains, the first thing you do is point the finger at the ghettos and the projects and use that to negate what you've done. You use that as a scapegoat. You use the murdered mother's son who's been left to himself, all right, as an excuse of what your ancestors have done. The treachery, okay? The treachery of Esau Edom, man. Mr. Innocent will be found guilty, okay? It says Zechariah 11:5, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. They hold themselves, meaning they don't feel ashamed. They don't feel sad. Okay. Look at Christians today. Why hasn't Christianity been used to spread the love of Jesus Christ amongst black and brown people, where the so-called white people have never showed them love? So bad to where they'll say, "Where was Jesus in slavery?" And what answer do you have? They don't have an answer for you, but they sure use that Bible. Right? And I'll show you an example right here. It says the horror of slavery, 1805. I'm not going to make this lesson long, nor am I going to read all of this. It says originally circulated in 1805 to educate the public about the treatment of slaves. You know what else helped the acknowledgement of what Esau Edom was doing? This movie right here. This movie right here, and that famous picture of his back. Okay, that's what got people saying, "Yo, what's going on over there?" Okay, look at this. It looks like a tree bark. You know, I was telling the brother that when I was watching, man, this looks like a tree bark, man. This is years of constantly being whipped. You see? And even in our laws, we have laws where if you did something, then you got put to death. See, they went. This is why it says they furthered the affliction. You could just there's laws about hanging and there is laws about flogging. I believe it's called scourge, like when you're scourged. But to this level, okay, and then to keep working. You see, this was more than just for punishment. This was for pleasure. Okay. Esau Edom enjoys what he does to us. That's what people don't understand. He enjoys it. Look at today. Okay. When you're around, Esau, look at how they handle you and treat you to this day. There is no change coming from them. All right. There is no change coming from them. The change is going to come from the Lord. Now, real quick, it says originally circulated in 1805 to educate the public about the treatment of slaves. This broadside entitled Injured Humanity. Yeah, what Esau's done is a war against humanity. Okay? A war against humanity. It says continues to inform 21st century audience of the true horrors of slavery. Do your Christians speak about this? You have Christians that are coming against us in our belief with the Bible and our connection to it. And you actually have them joke and make jokes about how they're going to make a song called Slavery in the USA. I don't feel that something like this should ever be joked about, but it is. See, in Babylon, it is. Okay? In Babylon, Jake is a joke. And he's treated as a joke. And his history is even treated as a sitcom and something to laugh about. You're going to find out that you have great judgment coming for you, and you are guilty, Mr. Innocent. Mr. It wasn't me, Mr. It wasn't me. It's always that. It's always a deflection. As evidenced by this document, early abolitionists decried the slave trade before it was abolished by 1807 Act of Congress. Injured Humanity was intended to shock readers and called on the conscience of citizens to reject with horror the smallest participation in such inferior transaction. Yeah, why was it so grotesque? Why was slavery so grotesque? Why? You know what I mean? When you look right here, you see you can see why do you need to put muzzles on them and these big iron, when you look at it and why? It says James Phillips, 1791, the description of the slave trade and treatment of slaves are brought to the life by 7 strikingly vivid vindicate depicting slaves being whipped, sold, tortured, and separated from their families. Why do you need to separate them from their families? Why do you need to torture them? See, these are things that are not asked, the details. See, it says Samuel Wood, Injured Humanity, being a representation of what the unhappy children of Africa endured from those who call themselves Christians. You see that? The unhappy treatment they had to endure by those that called themselves Christians. This is the history that they don't like to bring up, but this needs to always be brought up. Always being brought up. Why? Because the Most High requires that which is past. Zechariah 11:5. Whose possessors slay them, torture them, hang them, murder them, and then they what? Hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Yeah, and our own people was forced to be with Esau, or if not, they would kill them and find another black or brown, house nigga. Okay, that was another thing that Esau would do. He would force Jake to sell out to him. All right, so he could get a little something better, while the rest of his people, all right, endured harsh punishment. Okay. This is the mindset. This is what Esau has done. Okay. So I got this point right here: to be sold, to given unto death. That's what Esau has done. Okay. We've been given unto death and being in the hands of Esau. We've been given unto death being in the hands of Esau. Can't you see it? Just wanted to see. All right, goes. Yep, look at this. And the Lord will take you back to Egypt, which is spiritual, by the way, wherever I spake unto thee. Look, and it says, and there you will be offered for sale to your enemies as male and female slaves. You see that? And what do you think they did? And what do you think they did when they had us in their possession? Whatever they wanted. And they show you that in this movie. All right? This is why we need the gospel. And since I said that, the Wadi Abashimel Shai, you see these chains? This is Isaiah 61:1. And you want to tell me you need the gospel? Why weren't you reading us the gospel in slavery? Why weren't you reading us the gospel in slavery? Isaiah 61:1, the Spirit of the Lord power is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. he has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted. This whole movie, he kept praying and preaching to his wife and his family. He told them not to give up on God. And he was right. And the Lord delivered his family with him, even though they went through hell, even though they went through much tribulation. Look, this Esau always behind you, man. Even to this fucking day. You know, that shows you that we know this to be true. Even to this day, you still get offended by Esau. Doesn't have this spirit of, man, what has happened between me and this in particular nation? We got to rectify that. We got to fix it. We got to come to a common ground collectively as a people. And they don't even get mad at their own people, you know? The ones that might be like, I'm not with that. Fuck that. He's still a nigga, right? No, they still allow that. They still give that a pass. You see? That perpetual hatred. But let's continue on the gospel that's needed for us. It says, he has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, insomuch they had made a whole movie called Emancipation. What did he get this from? Being captive. How did his story come out? Running away from captivity. Okay? And you want to tell us, that's a major connection, who we are. Now, the word emancipation means the fact or process of being set free from legal, social, or political restrictions. See that? We just like us. How do we get citizenship here? Okay, citizenship was forced upon us because after Jake's Peter, okay, escaped. Guess how he got his freedom? He was forced into the army of the north. He didn't just get to the north and everybody was throwing chicken wings and it was happy and here's money and here's a new life and a wife. No. Okay? Because look, we're in Rochester. Rochester is the last stop of the Underground Railroad where they would have to wait in the trenches to be hidden in a steamship to make it across Lake Ontario, hoping to get to Canada. And guess what? Rochester is very racist, okay? They had to go through Penfield, Macedon, Egypt. There's an Egypt right here where I live, all right? And it's all Edomites. It's all racist, nasty, proud, devilish Edomites that look at you like, what you doing out here, nigga, to this day. So don't tell me, all right? That whole Christian act, Mr. Innocent, it ain't working. You try to change yourself to an angel light. You try to speak whispery in a sound spoken manner. It ain't working no more. Okay. See, Esau doesn't like for us to talk about that. He wants to control the narrative, like he controlled the noose around our neck, like he controlled where our eyes looked. All right. Go watch that movie, man. And they just all died off. That hatred just died off and they're not like that no more. Yeah, right. That's why his ass wants to put us back in slavery with this mark. And he's going to do it a very cruel way. Okay. Back in this, Isaiah 61:1, it says, he has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted. Why are we brokenhearted? We've been cast off from our commonwealth. All right. We don't have our culture no more. We don't have our heritage. We don't have our language. They even said it in the movie. His wife said it in the movie. She told her daughters, right here's his wife. She said, they tried to take our language. They tried to take our heritage. Why? That's another thing. When you brought people here as slaves, why did you force this simulation upon them? Why did you force them to be Americanized? Why did you take their heritage? Why did you take their names? Why did you call them Hebrews? Why, when they got freed, they referred to themselves as Israelites? There's too many questions that these Edomite Christians don't have an answer for. And the Lord, our Lord Yahweh Shai, is going to come and rectify everything. See, we're waiting on the Lord. Okay. That's where we're at. We're waiting on our Savior, and our Savior's coming. Okay. Let's keep going. And it says, he has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives and the opening of the prisons to them that are bound. Who bound us? Esau. Who bounded us? Esau. Look at this. Look at that. Who bounded us? Iron. Didn't it say you should have a yoke of iron around thy neck? Is that a yoke of iron around their neck? And this is just a depiction, okay, of what really happened. Okay? This is crazy. To proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion. The gospel is only for the Israelites. To give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. We have a spirit of heaviness because of you, Esau, because of Babylon, because of your self-glorified system. Okay? We have nothing but heaviness here, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. See? So a great restoration is coming for us. And then the same ones that murder us, stole from us, robbed us, are now trying to steal and rob back the gospel that's now been prophesied and given to us. The thief cometh not but for steal, to kill, and destroy. Your legacy, you're still living out your legacy. You're still living out your legacy. You see that? This is the mindset of Esau, Edom. So you want to know why war is going on? Because of what you've done to us. Let's get that real quick. You want to know why all this judgment is coming? You want to know why what's happening to Babylon and why things are happening the way they are? Is because this is judgment from the Lord from what you've done to us. But a Christian won't tell you that. A Christian will disagree with that because they love Babylon. You see? They don't love the Lord. They don't love Jesus. They love Babylon. And they like holding the Bible in front of them as a cloak, okay? As a badge, as a mask. Well, now the mask has been unveiled. Joel 3:2, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will judge, and will judge, and will judge. The word plead here is mashapat, and will judge with them there for my people and for my heritage, Yasharallah, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. You scattered us, you parted the land, you've had a pool party with us and the land, and you think that you're just going to get away scot-free? Just because you hold yourself not guilty doesn't mean you're not guilty in the eyes of Yahweh Shemel Shai. 2 Corinthians 5:10. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Hamashiach, that everyone may receive the things done in his body according to that he has done, whether it be good or bad. This was bad. This was very bad. What you've done, slavery, the horrors of the injured humanity. You've injured humanity for what you've done to us. You see? You see? And then there's no spirit today. It's so-called Black History Month. You know, it's so-called Black History Month, and Esau fire your ass on Black History Month. You know, it's a fake, it's a fad. You know, it's a joke. It's a joke. But don't worry, judgment is coming. Okay, great judgment is coming. Let me get this. This is Ezekiel 25. All right, even Samuel Jackson was in this spirit in Pulp Fiction. Ezekiel 25:12. It says, thus saith the Lord power, because that Edom has dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance and has greatly offended, storming the temples, just ransacking, all the nasty, nasty things he's done. Okay. A lot of nasty things he's done. And we're just scratching the surface. All right. For what you've nastily done, and to the so-called Spanish and Native American. You've got a lot to pay for. Greatly offended. We just have to read it like that. You brothers and you sisters know. And mind you, the Edomites, when they did this, yeah, they were the Edomites, but guess what? They were calling themselves Christians when they did it as well on this side of the earth. See that? So Christians greatly offended against the Lord's people, and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom. See, guilty. Mr. Innocent will be found guilty, and I will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people, Yasharallah, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord power, Yahweh Shemel Shai. So you got great judgment coming for you. You got great judgment coming for you. Mr. Innocent will be found guilty. I highly recommend you, brothers and sisters, if you have a smart TV, if you haven't, watch it. I just recently was able to watch it, but I found it to be a good movie. It was very telling, and it brought into life, okay, the spirit of hatred, like it says in Amos 1 that Esau has to us. Very hatred, very hatred. And that's a question to be asked. Why was there so much hatred for slavery? Why was there so much torment? Why was there so much, dismembering of bodies and separating families and raping men and women and children? Why was that needed for these in quote unquote indentured servants? But when we open the Bible, his history proves what the prophecy says what would happen to us. So I'll leave it there. I pray that you are edified, in the spirit as I was. And I'd like to say, call halal, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that do well. And peace and salutations to the Lord's elect. With that being said, Shalom.